Gonna start recording. All right. Drop in your name and your role and your campus in the chat just so we can make sure we get that attendance when we sign off. Okay, I am going to put a link in the chat to our presentation so that you can follow along. There will be links in the presentation. You don't have to have it up while we are screen sharing, but there will be some independent time where you can actually design in Canva and get in there and work on some things. So I want to make sure that you have the link to the presentation because there are a lot of hyperlinks on it. So the link to the presentation was just dropped in the chat. I'm going to drop it one more time because I think we had somebody just come in. As you're coming in, making sure to put your name and your campus in the chat so we can record you for attendance. All right, and we are going to get started. My name is Julie Bowles, and I am a learning coach with the district. Megan, do you want to say hi?
Hi, everybody. I'm Megan Pettit, and I am also a learning coach.
Mhm. Okay, so we're going to jump in and get started. Megan, you can go to the next one. All right, so Canva, we are so fortunate that Canva is a free resource for us and for our kiddos, and something we can use in the classroom to create educator created materials that we can send to a variety of different people. And our learners can also use it to create different materials and products. So this really connects to relationships as we're investing in each other and communicating, as well as engagement. Because as we know, as we increase our visual acuity with our designs, engagement can increase as we're communicating and make it more accessible and things like that. So we are connecting today to engagement for sure when we're thinking about these design skills in Canva. All right. And then this has been tweaked just a little bit, but as always, even on a Zoom, we're going to be respectful. We're going to try our best to practice active listening, maintaining an open mind, and participating if you would like to. If there's anything you need help with at any time, or you want to add something, anything like that, please feel free to use the chat. We will be helping answer questions and helping in the chat as much as we can. But I love it when participants kind of communicate and help each other as well, or give ideas or tidbits or tricks that they've learned. So please feel free to drop any contributions in the chat. There are going to be quite a few of us, so we will probably all stay on mute just because of the size of the session. All right, by the end of our time today, we are hoping you can walk away with knowledge on navigating the Canva template library, creating and editing a
That's not
design.
bad, especially if you're have a good gas tank. And I'm sure.
Oop, sorry, I hit a unmute button. My bad. Okay, creating and editing a design and then publishing and
Tank
sharing
guys
a
fill up,
design as well. All right, so here is our agenda. We're going to start with an introduction to Canva templates. We're going to look at some basic design principles to keep in mind um, when you are designing. And then we're going to have a little bit of design time where you can actually dive into Canva and start designing something that fits your needs. We'll have some suggestions and pre-made templates as well that we'll share with you. And then at the end, we're going to actually share our designs out to see what you created. All right, so let me get the link to this to paste in the chat. We are going to go to this Padlet and just kind of put in what you design already. So here's the link to the Padlet. I put it in the chat for you. It's also hyperlinked there in the presentation if you're there. I think. Megan, is it? Can you click on it for me? It's thinking. When you go to that Padlet, and I'm going to paste it one more time in the chat. When you go to that Padlet, there is a button. Mine is thinking. It might say you're about to leave Canva if you're in there. There we go. And then, so we are focusing right now just on the ones, what designs do you already create? And next to that, there is a plus button that you will hit. You can put your name in the subject line, or you can type in what you already create there. Yep. And then you can just type a little description of some things you already create. If you have something readily accessible and saved on your computer, you can feel free to attach it by hitting the little upload button. That's like the paper with the up arrow, but you do not have to do that. You are welcome to just drop one line about something you already create for your classroom, communication wise, that you send out to staff, that you send out to parents. So I'm going to give you just a second to go ahead and add what are some things you already create. Feel free to comment on each other's as well if it's something you create as well. It doesn't just have to be in Canva. Canva is definitely what I use most often now, but before I was using Canva, I was using Google a lot, lots of Google Docs. I still do. Um, Keynote, just wherever you might create things, whatever you might create. So I'm going to give about 30 seconds to a minute. And we are up on the one that says, what designs do you already create? That one down below where it says what we already created, we will be using that at the end of our time to show what we create in Canva. And it can be creating anywhere. If you're a first year teacher and maybe you have not created, or maybe you have used teammates, or you're just interested about creating and it's a new skill for you, you can absolutely put that. I have yet to create anything. I'm excited to learn whatever you want to put to give that information. Good. I see a lot of things like daily slides, book fair posters, communication to parents and things like that, newsletters, presentations. Good. I see a lot of us kind of replying to each other as well about great ideas. That's great. Okay, worksheets, good. Yeah. Team leader flyers for sure. Name tags and labels. All right. So, my friends who are new to Canva, if you have ever bought things like labels or classroom posters or anything like that on Teachers Pay Teachers, I am hoping this changes your world because there is access to so much that is completely free. You do not have to pay for it. It is all editable. And you get access to a lot of really cute graphics and cute fonts and all sorts of different cute things. So I am hoping I did a lot of Teachers Pay Teachers too a few years ago where I would buy these cute like library posters and genre posters and things like that. But since having access to all of the really great Canva templates, we don't have to buy anything anymore. It's all free, which is as it should be for education. So, all right, Megan's going to take us back to the presentation. If you want to pop back onto the Zoom and follow along with us. We are going to go to the next slide now that we shared out a little bit. This is just a kind of snapshot of some of the templates that are available in the Canva template library. And when you're reading through this list, it's everything from like educational presentations, videos, you can make websites, worksheets, lesson plans, unit plans, cards, logos, comic strips, all sorts of things. So I'm just going to give you about 30 seconds to kind of read a little bit. If there's something you didn't know, feel free to drop it in the chat if you want to kind of jump in and add that. So for example, I didn't know I can make a like a YouTube video in Canva until last year. That was a new skill for me. Okay, about 10 more seconds to kind of read over it. You do not have to memorize this list. There won't be a quiz afterwards or anything like that, just to get you some ideas. So when you have design time, maybe you want to come back to some of these in design. Yeah, the comic strip is really cool. And the storyboard as well, because learners can have access to these templates as well. And they can start with a comic strip template or whatever and make their own too. Really great connections for like history classrooms and ELAR and all sorts of different things. All right, we are going to continue forward. So this is a shortcut, and it is hyperlinked in the presentation. So in a little bit, when we have some kind of free explore time, you are welcome to come back to this slide in the Canva presentation that we're doing. All of these are hyperlinked. So let's say that Megan wanted to look at creating storybooks. She could click on that storybooks button. It might actually take her to the Canva version of this template kind of landing board, and then she can click on storybooks. And it brings up all of these different storybook templates that you can create to use things. You can make copies of it, or your learners could do it as well. So there's tons and tons and tons of them. that you can scroll through. You can pick the one you want and then make a copy and change it to be what you want it to be. So in a few minutes, I just want you to know this is here when we give some free design time. So you can come back and if you want to, definitely use this graphic and this kind of hyperlinked landing board to get a jump start on maybe I want to look at the classroom posters or meet the teacher introduction. Great time for meet the teacher things today. So definitely spend some time looking at these and making something that'll help you get started with the year. We'll come back to that during that design time. An additional thing about Canva. Canva has an AI piece component into it where you can actually describe what you want and it will sort of spit out a design that you might be able to use for a starting period. I've had a real hit or miss with this. Sometimes I really like what they do. Sometimes I'm not the biggest fan of what they do. So Canva has a new look, so if you have used Canva, things are a little bit different than where you left off, probably. But where it says search your content or Canvas, that's where you would kind of type a sentence of what you're looking for. So Megan, will you go to the next slide? I actually pasted what this looks like in here. So in that little bar that I showed on the last one, and we can definitely do a walkthrough of it, but I posted, we want to start with a prompt. So my prompt is right underneath. It says, create an invitation for families to meet me on Meet the Teacher Night on August 12th from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. That's what I wanted the design to include. So I pasted that in to my um, template builder, my magic design. I can preview the magic designs. It'll take a minute because it is thinking and the AI is working to create what you want. And then it'll come up with these designs. Now, I wasn't the really biggest fan, so I would probably have gone down and looked at the user created designs, which will show up right below. So we have the magic designs up at the top and then the user designs right below it. I liked a lot of the user designs, and that's probably where I would have started. Just personally, I've had good luck with the magic design and I've had bad luck with it. So just think of it as the top one. If you put in a prompt there, the top bar is the computer generated designs that is thinking you might want. And then the bottom ones are the human created designs where actual users or Canva for Education have created these templates for you, and then you can make copies of them and edit them. They're usually a little more targeted to education when you put education in your prompt. So lots of things there that hopefully we will get a good use out of. All right, Megan, we can move next. Okay, so really quickly, before we go into some free design time, we're going to talk about just four basic design principles to consider when you're making your designs and sending them out. So this is a fun little acronym. C for contrast, R for repetition, A for alignment, and P for proximity. And you are welcome to put that together and figure out what word that says. But we're going to move on. Just remember, always remember CRAP when you're designing. So starting with contrast, I taught fifth grade for years and years, and I taught fourth grade for years and years, and my fifth graders struggled with contrast. They wanted to use bright yellow, like neon yellow on a white background, or neon yellow on a neon green, and it is hard for people to read when there's not a lot of contrast. So for example, if we're looking at the one on the left, the art of digital marking, it's dark text on a dark background. We want to do something to really pop and bring it out. And then by adding the bar on the live webinar section, the kind of shape background, it really draws the eye into what it is. So we want to think of what's going to be easiest for our readers to look at and to take in, and then how can we draw attention to what we want them to look at. So contrast, definitely, if you're using dark on dark, that's going to be a little hard to read. We want to make sure we're doing light on dark and using contrasting elements such as shapes to help make our information really pop. Thinking about repetition, so definitely something I'm guilty of. I found a lot of cute designs, and maybe I would use one type of design the first time I sent out communication about something such as a winter workshop. And then the second time I sent a reminder, my design would look completely different because I found a different template that I thought was cute. So thinking about repetition, we want to have repeating designs to signify to our reader and our viewer that these two things are related. So if you are on a campus staff and you're maybe sending something out to staff, you might want to have it in your school colors or something like that to signify, oh, this is related to Canyon Ranch, or this is related to Lee, or this is related to TCE. If you're doing something about winter, thinking about a repetition of winter theming and colors. Anything that goes together, and my biggest tip here, anything that goes together and you want your reader to make the connection. Oh, both of these communications are about the same thing. Try to use something within the same template family so they can easily make that connection and know right away, oh, that looks just like what we saw last week. This must be an update. It's related somehow, especially when you're sending out, if you're a classroom educator and you're sending out information to parents, using those similar designs about similar topics can be really helpful for them so that they know exactly what they're looking at. Okay, the next thing is alignment. We are very comfortable with center alignment, myself as well. It makes us feel comfortable. It's something that's easy to do with center alignment. As you're developing your graphic skills, definitely looking at different types of alignments. It doesn't all have to be the same either. So on the one on the right, it just kind of amplifies the look and makes it more professional looking by using those different types of alignment. The top part is right justified, and then the bottom part is broken into two different columns, as well as the title up at the top that is centered. You can mix and match alignments instead of sticking with all one, and that'll make your design stand out and look more professional.
One thing I'm going to add that I learned in a user experience class I took was that for people with dyslexia, a left alignment is easiest to read. So if you have a big block of text, it's kinder to make it left aligned instead of center aligned. So just keep that in mind.
Mm-hmm. Also, keeping in mind the different font types and chunking can really help address our different reading types. Some readers will read every single word, no matter how it's aligned. Other people might look and say, okay, I'm going to skim this, and what's going to be the most important for me to read? When I look at these cards, I'm looking at, okay, digital marketing agency is important, and then their services. So when you're looking at thinking about those different reader types, how can we adjust our alignment and our font sizes and our contrast to meet the needs of our different readers, those who read every single word versus those who only look at headings, subheadings, and those who maybe just skim. All right. And then proximity. So this is one as well. I like to tilt things and make them look all kind of wonky because it looks really cute. And it does. However, we want to consider where the eye is being drawn to. So when we look at the one at the left, I look at art workshop first, but then I'm not quite sure where to go to get the next bit of information. And the eye has to kind of travel all around the card to absorb the information. And that increases the likelihood that your reader will miss something. So if this was something I was sending to a parent, I might want to go with something more like on the right, or sending to a staff, more on the right where everything is right there. My eye is drawn immediately to art workshop, and then the important information is all within close proximity. My eyes don't have to move very much to gather the information that I need. It's all right in the same spot. And then the extra see you there is a little further away in proximity, totally fine. But thinking about that important information and keeping it all relatively close together instead of in 5 different places on the page. That's really good for kids too. Um, my son is very ADHD. He is diagnosed, he's on medication. And on the left-hand side, he would struggle with something like that because he would probably look just in the center and then move on with his life without looking in the corners. Whereas on the right, his attention is all right there focused, and it's easier for him to focus. So keeping those kiddos in mind too, as we're making things like agendas and slides that we can present, things like that. What's going to be helpful for our kiddos who may have attention issues, or like Megan said, dyslexia or anything like that, or really just our little learners, what's going to be helpful for them too. Okay, So, in just a minute, we're going to give you some free design time. I do want to walk us through the changes really quick because Canva does look different. Megan, do you mind walking through this a little bit? She's
I
unmuting.
don't mind at all. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I
No, you're
was
good.
trying to get my screen back.
Same. I know.
I
Megan,
don't mind at
Canva
all.
has had what's called a glow up. So if you've used Canva before, the first time you haven't used it since probably, my goodness, just a couple weeks ago, it looks different. And even for us, it was a little challenging for us to figure out where everything was just without knowing. So we want to make sure that you have a good, solid understanding of where everything has kind of moved to. I'm going to go on mute. Megan, you take over.
Okie doke. So I am in the Canva app right now, on my MacBook. I will say that some of the tools that are on and available on your MacBook are not available on your iPad. So you can always use Canva on your iPad. Your students can use Canva on your iPad, on their iPads, but some things don't work the same. One of the big differences is that Canva has given you a section to get to starred materials. So if this teacher cheat sheet is something I want to keep coming back to, I just hover over it and click the star, and it's going to go to the top of my list. So I can find the things that I need quickly. I can also find folders that I need quickly. A lot of you said that you're new to Canva. So even further on the left, I have my home, but I also have projects. This is where I can see all of the projects that I've created. I can also create folders to organize my projects. Once you start designing lots and lots of things, it's really hard to get to them when you're just like scrolling and searching. You can see all the things that I've put into Canva. So it's really nice to have some of those folders. And now that I can star a folder, it's even easier to get to, which is great. Like Julie was saying, you can search your content or Canvas up here in the search bar. You can also use the quick design options. These will change based on things that you make. So I make presentations a lot. I've used whiteboards. I do some social media design. I've made a lot of videos in Canva. I will tell you, do not sleep on Canva videos. They have some amazing video templates that I've used for like instructional videos for campuses. They're fantastic. I can also come up to the purple button that says create a design, and then I can search here. So we were looking at Meet the Teacher. So this will give me a Meet the Teacher flyer or a Meet the Student or Teacher, and it gives me those dimensions. So I'll click on Meet the Teacher flyer. It's going to give me my blank design. That's a change that's happened, but it automatically pulls up the templates over on the left. So now I can look at these templates and choose one that I like to start with. And then I can start clicking to make changes. I don't know why it just resized like that. That was really strange. Or I could start from scratch if I don't like that. It's also going to give me the style. So these are the color palette and the fonts that it's going to use, and it gives me some suggestions of more templates that are like that. I want to know why it resized that way. Let's try that again. I don't know. I must have chose a bad size. Let's start over.
And
Weird.
that's something, if anything kind of wonky like that happens, definitely just backtracking and starting over is great. You can also use the resize button up at the top to try to kind of manually do it. But my default is always, I'm going to exit out and I'm going to try again.
Yep.
And that way it's just like a clean, I don't have to worry about how many inches do I need to make this. I can just start over.
Man, Canva is not being kind to me today.
Yeah, it is a little bit slower. One thing to note here, on Meet the Teacher, not Meet the Teacher, sorry, I was reading the words Meet the Teacher. I meant on templates and template designs. If you are working collaboratively on something, it might be a little challenging to find that design for the person who didn't make it right away. It only shows up in whoever made it like at the top. So just kind of keep that in mind. It's not that big of a deal. So the way that Megan is doing it right now, where she's typing in Meet the Teacher flyer from the home page instead of starting with a design, that's my workflow and how I start. I start with that search bar and search what I'm looking for. And then when I find the one I like, so we like this one, I'm going to use that customize template button. That's my favorite workflow to use just because I get like this whole big overview of all the templates for whatever it is that I'm looking for.
And this new glow up wasn't working for me. So just know there are multiple ways to get to things. Now that I found the template that I want to use, if I have a specific color palette I want, I can go to styles and I can find a new color palette. It's also going to give me some font sets that I can choose from. I could also add elements. So if I wanted to add that my favorite animal is a giraffe, I could go and search for graphics, photos of giraffes and add those to my design here. I can also add more text if I need to, and then I can add uploads. So like where it has this picture of a teacher, I could upload a picture of myself, which I know I have in here somewhere, but I have so many pictures. And then I can just drag and drop it into that space. Another thing to know, if you have previously used Canva, you used to see all of your tools over on the left-hand side. Now they are up at the top, and if you click this More button, they'll pop open on the left. So now I can start making changes to this text by using the tools that are over on the left-hand side. That's another change that Canva has made. If you haven't used Canva before, this will just be how it works from now on. I'm trying to think. Anything else that I need to go over, Julie?
I feel like that is the main thing. We'll talk about exporting in just like after our free design time. We want to give you some time to dive in and play with Canva, especially if you've never used Canva before, just start exploring. If you have used Canva before, but haven't looked at that new glow up, this is a great time to familiarize yourself with that new layout. So you can get used to it before school starts. So during this time, we're going to give, let's see, 10 to 15 minutes. And during this 10 to 15 minutes, we want to encourage you to really think about something that you want to create for your classroom. Maybe it's teacher communication, parent communication that you want to send to your parents. Maybe it's a invitation for Meet the Teacher. Whatever it is that you're like, I could really use some time to create this right now, and I can use it coming up. Megan, will you go to the next slide? I'll put this link in here as well. Bulb cover templates is a big question we get often. How do I make my banner on my digital portfolio? How do I make one that I like? Here is a link that, and we'll paste this in the chat, but you can actually use to have a template, and then you can create your own bulb cover templates that have sort of what you want in there. So it's not just those pictures that are available. If you're interested in that. If you're not, totally fine. You don't have to use it. Megan, will you go one more slide over? Okay, so during this design time, you can choose an upcoming project or something that you want to work on, or something that you created last year that you want to change over. You can select a template from the template library and begin working on it, or you can start with a blank canvas. I know Megan is so good at starting with a blank canvas. I am a template girly. I like starting with a template and then changing what I need. So thinking about the workflow that works best for you, and then you're going to I want to encourage you to think, who is my audience? What would I want this to look like for that audience? What's the message I want to convey? What's the best way to reach them? Thinking about, is it a flyer? Is it maybe just a little small? It says Instagram post, but I use the Square Instagram post for so many graphics that I make. Yep. Megan just sent a little reminder about not forgetting your easy graphic design skills in there with our favorite acronym. And then if you are using it as part of a brand, you might want to make sure that you are saving that and building more on it later. So using that star button. I am going to send the link to all the things right now. But to get started, you can go ahead and get into Canva. And to get into Canva, you go through SSO and then you click on Canva. So here is the presentation. I pasted it in the chat. And that presentation, again, if you back up a little bit, it's got all of those different template options that you can start with if you're not sure what to read to kind of type in there. And then let me grab also the bulb link and I will paste that in there. And if you're feeling ready to go, you go ahead. You jump over to Canva. Megan and I will be here to help with any questions. So if you're unsure of something, or if you're not sure how to do something, or if I was very lost with the glow up, having come from the traditional Canva. So it definitely took me a while to find things. If you can't find something you're looking for, whatever you need, hop over to the chat and we are here to help you out. I pasted that bulb cover template in there. I am also going to paste the link to the cheat sheet so you don't have to dig for it if you haven't gotten access to that yet. Here's the teacher cheat sheet. And then Megan has our timer up. Canva is also really great, especially if you like using slideshows with your students or anything like that. Canva has a built-in timer that you can leave it up and you can get the timer going. It also has music built in there with it. So really great tool for if you're using presentations with your kiddos and want to give them some time. So we're going to give you that design time, really focusing on what's something I can use right away when I get back to school. We want this time to be meaningful for you. We want to be here to help you, but something that you can actually use when you get back to school. This is a great question. Ooh. Megan, do you know the answer to the chat question?
Esther, I don't think that your folders were automatically created. Because I don't, it would be something that could have been created on your team. So if you were added to those folders by a teammate within your Canva team, but they shouldn't have been automatically created.
We do have Canva for education and there's some classroom features. So it might also be those classes that are rostered to you. But that's definitely something like that. We're happy to sit down when we get back to campuses and check out with you. Okay. They are named like the classes rostered. Okay. So Canva has some really great features where you can actually assign things to your learners and push things out to your learners using their classroom type features. Your learning coach would love to go over that with you if you want to start using it with kids when we get back to school. For now, just don't worry about those features. We just want you to get familiar with designing in Canva and make something that'll be useful to you. But if you're interested in using it with kiddos, definitely reach out to us, reach out to your learning coaches when you're back on campus because kids love Canva too, a lot. All levels of kids that I've done Canva with just love it. you run into any hiccups at all, definitely reach out in the chat so we can help you out. Or if you have a question about how to do something or anything, let us know.
There was a question in the chat about pulling elements from a previous design into another, so I am going to do that really quick. Um, the first thing that you have to do, hold on, let me hide these meeting controls so they don't bother me. The first thing that you need to do is make sure that both of your designs are in the same team, which I'm sure that they are. So just make sure that you are using one team as you design. If I want to copy this text, come on, Canva. So I'm going to select that element, and then I can hit Control C, or I'm sorry, Command C, or I can right click and hit copy. Then all you have to do is move back to your other design and then paste that in. So any element that you have from one design to another can be copied as long as those designs were created in the same team. That's where I've had issues. I hope that helped.
Okay, we're getting close to our end time. So if we want to come back to our Zoom, we want to show you a couple more things really quick. And the first one's going to be how to, Esther, yes, definitely, you can do that. Um, sorry, I got distracted. I maybe also have a little bit of ADHD and I'm still on vacation mode. So thank you for bearing with me. We want to show you how to actually download and share what you create. We're going to practice that right now with the Padlet. So if you're unsure on how to actually download a design you've created and then post it somewhere, if you want to hop on over to Megan's screen share here, we're going to walk you through those steps.
Okay. Esther was asking about having each person's meet the teacher in the same place. You can absolutely do that. So if Julie and I were team teachers and I wanted her to create hers in the same style as mine, one, I can hit duplicate page and it's going to have all those elements and she can change those her pieces. But when I hit share, I also want to make sure that I give her access to this. So I will add her, and now Julie has edit access to this design. So she and I can work on it together. If it's something that I have finished, I want people to be able to view it, but not edit it. I can use this public view link. So I will click and make this public view link. They can access it on the internet.
You can also change that collaboration link. There's so many ways you can do so many of the things. So where it says collaboration link, you can share it with your whole like campus. You can go down to only people added or anyone with the link. I've used anyone with the link before, and I mean, think about Google, and when you're sharing a Google Doc, it's like that. And then you would give them the link and they can edit it, and you can always change it later so that it's no longer editable by them. So a couple different ways to do things. Right now, what we want to do is help you practice sharing something you've created. Even if you only made a copy of a template or something like that, let's go ahead and get that into the Padlet. It doesn't have to be finished. It doesn't have to be changed. You can do it in two different ways to get this into our Padlet. You can generate a public view link by hitting share and then public view link. Megan's going to hit create public view link and then copy that link. I'm going to paste the Padlet in the chat again, and she's going to go back to the Padlet that I pasted in the chat. So if you need to get back to the Padlet, it is in the chat. And then we're scrolling down to that bottom part, the bottom one that says share what you created today. So you can paste the view link there if you so choose, or you can actually download it as like an image, which is what I do the most often, and I think Megan as well. If you're sending it out to parents or staff or anything like that in an email, you'll want to download it as an image as well. So to do that, you would just hit share, just like we just did for doing the view link. You're going to go down to download. A lot of these are going to default either to, I found the most common defaults is PNG, which is what I like if I don't want it to be a PDF. But when you open up that option, you can have it be several different things. If we were creating like a book trailer or something like that, and it was a video, I would definitely choose video. So lots of different options. For our purposes today, we're going to stick with PNG. And then there's a couple different options with transparent background. We're not going to mess with any of that. We are going to look at select pages. If the design you chose has more than one page, just pick one for right now. We don't need to download more than one. And then you hit download. And this saves just like if you were downloading anything from the internet or from your email or wherever. Let it download. And then we're going to go upload that in the Padlet. So I'm going to give you just about a minute to see if you can get that in. If you run into any issues with sharing and getting it in the Padlet, please let us know. Before we sign off, there's a couple quick things we just want to show you to give you some ideas on using this in the classroom.
Julie, are they on this presentation?
I don't think so. I didn't put them there.
Okay, perfect. Just making sure.
Okay.
One really cool thing that I want to give you an idea for your classroom is Canva has an option where you can like make t-shirts, bags, different types of products. So your students can use these markups or like templates. I'm hoping it opens to show what they've learned about a topic. So this is one that Julie made on a bag about moon phases. So it was like, if you want to buy a bag that has the moon phases on it,
Yeah.
students could show what they know.
We called it science swag. So their activity was creating science swag, and it was for a fifth grade classroom for the end of year review. So they were creating science swag for different topics that they had learned in the previous year. And some of them created canvas bags, some of them created like the little buttons you can wear on your shirt, caps, all sorts of things. And really, a lot of them took very creative freedom and made just a lot of different things. Megan, did you find it or did we not find it?
Oh, did it not show?
No.
Sorry.
Oh, maybe it's frozen. Okay, Megan's going to show that real quick. And then there's one more thing I want to show you that is continuously being added. There it is right there. So that was a fifth grader science swag that was created. Very little help from the educator. We gave them the template and they just explored and played with the elements. And I mean, like I would buy this bag.
Pretty cute.
So very cute. The last thing I want to show really quick before we sign off, there are ready-made lessons and unit plans in Canva that you can explore. So Megan's going to take us back to the homepage of Canva. There we are. Okay, so once you're in this homepage of Canva, and again, it's still being added to, it's not quite there. Let me talk you through how I like to go to it. Megan, will you go to the projects tab on the left under home? Okay, so when she clicks on projects, we are going to go to, why does yours look different than mine? Hold on.
It's the glow up.
Oh, the glow up. Okay, one moment. Okay, mine has one at the top that says save time with ready to teach lessons. Do you know a different way to get there if theirs does not say that?
I do not.
Okay, scroll down. Okay, that's okay.
Let's see what happens.
Yeah, we're gonna try this. We're gonna search ready to teach lessons. No,
Nope.
go to, instead of projects, go to templates
There we go.
and try that. There we go. This is still not quite
This
right.
isn't it.
No.
We're gonna have to find where it lives now.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're going to find where it lives another time because I know that we are tight on time and we are at that ending mark. Canva has a lot of ready to teach lesson plans and like full units that are ready to go. This glow up is throwing us all a little bit for a loop. I'm going to try one more spot. Will you click classwork on the left
Mhm.
and just see if it shows up there? Nope. Okay. Okay, templates, one more spot. If you need to go, if you're like, I can't hang out so they can figure this out, that's okay. You don't have to. You are, here we go. Here we go. So we went to templates. It's home, projects, and then templates. And on the right there, you'll see ready to teach lessons. And if you hit see all out to the right there, there's a couple ways you can do this. You can see all of them, and it brings up they are more than just one lesson. They're like big units that are ready to go with lesson plans and everything. And they are completely free. They've got things for learners, they've got things for teachers and teachers' notes and all sorts of things. So you can search like this, where it'll be templates. Will you go back one to the back to the resource type? Or
Maybe.
just hit back. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go. Maybe. Okay. You can also filter by grade level, is what I wanted to show,
Oh,
but the glow up
great.
is being a little
Yep.
weird. There we go. So when you expand grade on the left-hand side, you can search for ones that are applicable to your grade specifically. So if we're a grade 3 teacher, we can click on grade 3, and then right at the top comes up those lessons. Now, I will say most of these are either created by Canva Creative Studio or users that are partnering with them. So just, preview anything you teach for sure. Don't just jump right in and assume it's going to be great. I have made that mistake before, and then there was something in it that didn't match with my standards or maybe wasn't the best thing there. So those ready to teach lessons are really cool. You don't have to use every piece of it. I've used just bits and pieces. Definitely something else that you can explore for some time saving tips. Great for sub plans too. There's some great things in there that if you have a sub day, those are ready to go. So, okay, well, I think we are
Again,
wrapping. Sorry, say again.
I was just saying that was under templates, just because it took us a second to
Yes,
find it.
under
So
templates. Sorry, you guys, this glow up has gotten, we have to relearn as well. So, okay, we are hoping that you have walked away with just either some new ideas or something that you didn't know before on how to use Canva. If you were a Canva user before, maybe you feel a little more comfortable with the glow up. If you have any questions at all or need help at all, feel free to drop them in the chat before you leave. Make sure that you had your name in the chat at some point and your campus so we can make sure that your attendance is recorded. When we get back to campus, if you're interested in using Canva more and exploring it further, definitely reach out to your learning coach. We would love to partner with you. Kiddos love Canva a lot, so we would love to help with that.
Narda, I want to help you with your problem if you want to stay on for a second.
All right. And if you are good to go, you have no more questions, you are free to go get your summer back on.
So, Narda, if you've got designs that are in two different teams, just make sure that you are like working inside of your campus team. And then when you see your designs, if you click on those three dots, oh my goodness, these Zoom controls are
I
driving me
know
crazy.
it's rough.
Go away. Okay, so I clicked on my design, Narda. I clicked on those three dots. You can click or copy to another team. So then I can make sure that both of my designs live in the same team, and then you should be able to copy elements to both of those. So if I need both of them to be in Lakeside, I would click Lakeside and then hit copy.
I will say that doesn't always work. So try it a couple times, and if it doesn't work, I think we're gonna have to put in a help desk ticket with Canva because it should work. The feature is there, but for whatever reason, I've tried to make copies numerous times and move it to other teams and it hasn't been working. So please let us know if you do that, it doesn't work so we can get on top of it with Canva.
Yeah, we can definitely help you more with the button clicking in person too. So just make sure to ask one of the learning coaches on your campus when you get back to school.
Okay. All right, everybody. Well, we are going to go ahead and sign off. Let us know if you need anything. Go get your summer back on.